Something that had my attention during our time with Inside was that the boy always seemed to know where he was going. The school of Spec Ops teaches us to keep in mind that in a linear game like this, it's the character rather than the player who's calling the shots, and this kid seems hell-bent on venturing deeper into the belly of the beast. With that established, the constant framing of this game takes on a special power. The thing we're trying to reach, whatever it may be, is always some distance to the right of the screen. We naturally assume that our reason for putting ourselves through all this will be revealed once we get there, and so we carry on to the right. To see the secret ending, on the other hand, involves going the wrong way. Investigating these yellow cables and dismantling the peculiar machines they lead to generally takes you to the left, or at least away from the obvious route forward. More than one of these secret areas contain devices playing a spooky piece of music comprised of 3 chords, which immediately sounds like a code of some kind. It's not much to go on, but destroying these things feels a little like another choice. In some obscure way, the spooky tune calls to the left. Sure enough, when you find all of them and turn off the big one, the suggestion is that you go back to the second one in the sequence, the hardest to find, underneath the cornfield, in this survivalist's bunker. You play the tune on the console, the reinforced door opens, you crawl through a long, dark cave, you discover the mind control helmet all the secret devices have been hooked up to. You start to unplug it, and... Okay, but hold on, do we really need this alternate ending to tell us what we already know? Of course this kid isn't any different from any of the other zombie drones. Even if we didn't choose his destination, there's an obvious irony running through this game that the kid's under our control. Even if he was still himself to some extent at the start of his journey, it seems especially doubtful his original intentions could have survived this event. There's no way any child in any situation wants this, and it's suspicious, of course, how seamlessly the player's control transfers to the blob. Many of the most striking moments in this game underline a distance between the player and the kid, like this puzzle where we're separated from him by a pane of soundproof glass, or this scene where he peers through a window at his goal, but the camera doesn't help us out by showing us what he sees. In hindsight, my favorite part of the game is the thumper section. This entire scene is terrifying on such a level that it initially passed by my senses in an unclear haze. I couldn't place it into the proper context. This thing is a weapon of mass destruction, and someone's built an obstacle course through it and left it on. Being in this thing's area of effect must be overwhelming, deafening, eardrum splitting. You'd feel like your guts were under attack with every pulse. But once the kid gets into the proper rhythm, the music becomes worryingly serene. The rhythm of the weapon turns into a comfortingly steady groove to work by. This can't be describing the kid's feelings on what he's putting himself through. No kid would or should put himself through this, and he certainly wouldn't seem so calm about it. We shouldn't admire his resolve, we should be creeped out by his indifference. Enjoying this pleasant detachment from all this horror, laughing at the slapstick child death, makes us complicit with whoever built this nightmare. I was rooting for the kid from the start, you know? It's really easy to see heroism in his determination to get where he's going, even a playfulness, a sense of wonder and sympathy. I was inclined to see him as the lone force for good in this fucked up world, even though I suspected there was some questionable provenance to my role in the story. I still really wanted to see this little trooper succeed. But the blob probably had the kid under its control the entire time, and it's kind of a sympathetic blob. Maybe its plan succeeding results in a bad dude getting some comeuppance, and maybe it finds some peace in this questionable outcome, and maybe that's good. Maybe that's good in a way. But these creepy fascists also seem to have anticipated the whole thing, and anyway, the blob is clearly implicating itself in their twisted bullshit by controlling a young boy's mind for its own selfish reasons. So it's like I said, the secret ending isn't just a twist reveal, it's an alternative. The game isn't just calling the player an asshole for abusing a kid. It lets us tell a different story, titled The Blob Has a Change of Heart. We can do the right thing. We can guide the kid out of danger, take him somewhere safe where they won't find him, and if he's somehow still alive, he'll at least have plenty to eat. And then we simply leave this poor kid alone.